Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays Dark Souls 2. We're in Undead Crypt. That is both exciting and terrifying. There's some extremely difficult areas here. There are some extremely not so bad areas here. But largely, I would say it is one of the more difficult areas in the game. You know, unlike... do I really have fat roll right now? How did that happen? Unlike a lot of Dark Souls 1, I actually think that the game gets substantially harder in the late game. Shrine of Amana is kind of the obvious example there. I'm just gonna get in here for a second and then figure out why I'm fat rolling. I'm fat rolling by a lot. If I take off my pants, I'm a little bit better. But that's okay. Nameless Usurper has just invaded us, so we'll take a second, figure out where the heck this guy is going to be, and oh, there he is. Okay. So I've got to get used to this actually because I'm playing. Lots of undead here, unfortunately. I'm playing a Faith character right now, off camera. And it's very tempting for me to just be like, I want to take out my Sunlight Spear. I want to take out my Sunlight Spear. Disregard those ghosts hanging from the walls. Oh my god, okay. Let's try not to die right off the bat. I could basically combo this guy. But his dagger moves so quickly. I almost got killed by that ghost in the wall. Remember when I said ignore the ghost in the wall? Don't ignore the ghost in the wall. Okay, this quick Estus might actually work out in my favor here. Good news is, oh, shield break here. Very nice. If we die, we never have to, or if we, beat him just once, we never have to fight him again. So that's exciting. But first things first, I actually need to kill him. Quick Estus, don't run at me. Okay, I think that's gonna mean that we're basically gonna win here. We can kill that ghost as well. I would have much preferred not to use, oh, Jesus. I would have much preferred not to use 2 Estus against this guy. But now I'll just be happy to actually win. To be honest with you. What are you doing? You taking a dump on the floor over there? That was the shield break. Dude's got crazy stamina. Oh my god, he actually managed to kill me. Alright, I'm not proud of that. But that's gonna be our trial by fire here. Like I said, the game gets harder as you make it into the late game. And, I mean, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy because I've started like 4 or 5 characters now. So, like, the first half of the game, up to Northernlion Castle at least, I have pretty much on lock. Like, if you look at my save files, they're basically in like descending order. One will be at like Northernlion Castle at like 30 hours, one will be at Northernlion Castle after 15 hours, and then my current character's at past Northernlion Castle at like maybe 8.5, 9 hours, which I'm impressed with. I'm pleased with, I guess I should say. This is the right way to go. We're actually not very far away from a boss in this area. But we're gonna have to open up a shortcut first. I assume that we get invaded by Nameless Usurper again. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I can deal with that. Believe it or not, I can deal with it, I guess I should say. What else do we have here? Nothing else. Equipped, green blossoms, lightning urns. If the dude's so quick, he should have less HP. That's my philosophy on this. We could try to pancake him, like the sorcerers in the Shrine of Amana. See, that's what pisses me off. He didn't get hit by that somehow. He's using my own iframes against me. Alright, let's let our stamina recharge. There's no reason in a 1v1 fight that I should end up losing against this guy. He doesn't get pancaked, though. He does get a little stunned, but it doesn't give him very much recovery time, much to my chagrin. Alright, take a chance to Estus. I think I've got this, just got to be a little bit more patient. This is the hardest part of this kind of like miniature section of the game. And one more hit should do it. Okay, that's good. Invaders banished. We don't really gain too much from that. But one of the NPC invaders has now been taken care of, so that's good. Now, in this area, all of these walls summon ghosts. Or many of these walls at least summon ghosts. So I'm actually going to take an opportunity to Estus. And then you're like, oh, how do I get past this, like, Venetian door here? Well, if you look, there's actually... they're dudes. Like, these are, I think, ironclads. It's hard for me to tell. Try not to get hit by that. What I'm gonna do is bait them out here, and this area is like one of the more areas, or one of the areas in the game where I'm most guilty of lion stratting, I think you could say. So I'm just gonna come in through here, and I believe there are some enemies immediately down here that I basically want to avoid straight away. There's like a bell that enemies will ring, and then more enemies will chase me down. This is not the right way for me to go. Let's try not to get trapped into an area here. We'll probably end up dying multiple times here, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, that bell means that undead are gonna come like crazy. So we're just gonna run for a minute. And what we want to do is ignore those giant fireballs coming down for us. And there should be a lever over here. And by hitting this lever, this actually opens up the path to the boss fight much more quickly. So at the very least, we accomplished a, you know, something on this run, or on this life. So I should just be able to walk back in here, and if I take like a quick right or something, there's a bonfire near us. Undead Crypt, like, there's no light for me to kind of draw from here, so it's confusing sometimes for me to find out where I am. But I know... Oh, it's through here then. I know that the shortcut saves us an awful lot of time, and it was pretty integral in me actually beating the boss. So, we came in like... Oh, there's the bonfire. Okay, good. Again, when we reach this point in Dark Souls 2, I really apologize for being a little bit unfamiliar with what's going on. But keep in mind, these are late game areas that I've only beaten once or twice, so... I am coming through here, not sight unseen, but like sight seen once, basically. And as soon as you get through these areas, it's very tempting to just be like, I made it, fuckers, like, never coming back here again, but of course I am. I still think this area is a lot easier than Shrine of Amana. And what I will say for sure is that it's very lion stratable relative to some of the other areas in the game. So if you're looking to harvest items from these earlier rooms, again, I apologize, this is probably not an area that you necessarily want to go to. Or not, sorry, not a video that you want to watch to figure out what's in every single chest and, you know, item in the area. What was that item we just got? It was an earth stone and like a dark stone or something like that. That would probably end up in our Titanite area on our inventory. Yeah, Dark Knight stone imbues equipment with dark. And I forget what else we got there. Maybe the magic stone imbues weapon with magic. Anyway. These we could use to imbue our weapon at one of the imbuable blacksmiths, which we have not even discovered yet, even though we're pretty much approaching like the, not the very end of the game quite yet, but we're getting there. We're getting very, very close to it. So this is a scary part, and it might look like I'm, like there's no enemies in this area. I assure you that is short-sighted. There are an awful lot of enemies in this area. What I do here is, you know, try to do what I do best and basically kite the crap out of them. The real problem is that, as you might expect, when you try to go through the fog wall, if you just get backstabbed once, or hit once, that cancels the animation. So, this is like the ultimate cheesy lion strat type area here. You don't have to fight these guys. You can fight them one by one, but I think it's an area that's substantially easier as a caster than it is as a non-caster. I wonder if, like, it seems like the AI around these guys has almost been patched a little bit to make it a little bit harder to just succeed by lion stratting. That was not the right way to handle this. Through this door is a boss, but I actually think the boss is, like, substantially easier than the rooms that come before him, so that's not great, but just sneak through the fog wall, and life's good. Okay, so we're gonna get a cutscene here. Again, apologies for the ultimate lion strat, but we're like 22 videos deep here, you probably know what you're getting into. Alright, so this should be Vestalt, the King's Royal Guardian. Or the Royal Aegis, sorry. Close enough. I don't really remember fighting Vestalt the one time that I did. I remember him being kind of a dick. I think he may summon other enemies, but I might have him confused with the Looking Glass Knight. But I really like that sweet weapon that he uses here. But again, typically, melee bosses in Dark Souls 2, like standard, like, dudes with a sword and board or, you know, some kind of two-handed weapon, are fairly easily fought, something like the Smelter Demon aside, which may be saying, whoa, we never saw you fight the Smelter Demon. Maybe one day when I'm feeling a little bit more masochistic. Anyway, so far so good for sure on this fight. That was, bullshit that I got hit there, but I guess I was out of my iframe, but still didn't get staggered. That's okay, though. We'll S this up. Fight's going pretty well so far. But I believe that Vestalt is one of those characters that has some elemental stuff going on after he reaches kind of the halfway point. So, oh, that might be it right there. He rings this thing, and then this is my chance to get kind of reacquainted with what's going on here. I probably could have taken that opportunity to attack him, but I do want to take a second just to observe what's happening. I think that just makes him a little bit stronger, and he does that once or twice. He rings his bell. Yeah, okay. Puts it down on the ground. Shoots out a big ball of dark magic. Yeah, that hurts. But it's not the end of the world. I don't have a 100% dark blocking shield, obviously. But our physical block is still going to do most of the dirty work for us here. Most important thing... Oh, we stunned him, and then I missed. Most important thing on a fight like this is realizing that his attacks are pretty slow. So just because he stopped attacking for a second, that doesn't mean that his attack cycle is actually over. He might just be gearing up for a more major kind of second swing. So that's the kind of thing that gets me burned all the freaking time on these melee bosses in Dark Souls 2, is they take a second and you think that they're done with their attacks, but actually what they're doing is just preparing for kind of a second spell. But this is going pretty well so far. So I'm going to wait until he does another animation that I'm comfortable with, and I'm going to take that opportunity to Estus. And we still have half of our Estus remaining, which I think puts us in a pretty good position for this fight. And we're just going to keep kind of circling behind him. That thing that they added where basically bosses jump backwards, I don't know if it's added, but they allowed it for a number of bosses where they jump backwards, is actually really, really helpful for the bosses. It's not helpful for the player, but it's really helpful for the bosses to get out of kind of like the cycle that players have a tendency to put them in, where basically they just get steamrolled. So it puts us out of the actual attack range. Is that another attack? Nope. Okay. Always be wary. It puts us out of the attack range, but also means that I can't just, like, circle behind him anymore. And behind an enemy, when they have a melee weapon, is usually the best place to be. So this fight's... Oh, man, that was scary. I got staggered, but my stamina is going to recover enough that I can block when I come back, which is useful. You know, I may still die against Vestalt. I'm not going to be cocky enough to say that I won't. But as long as we stay close, and that means he shouldn't do his magic attack, it looks like he's going to go down relatively easily here, which is nice. Again, just one of those bosses, kind of like the Mirror Knight, where patience wins out, and that's going to do it. I'm actually very impressed. It's pretty much all we need to do in the Undead Crypt for now, much to my surprise. I kind of expected that to be harder than it actually was. Now, these dingbats are gonna follow me, which is really frustrating. And this is Vendrick right here, and we're not gonna be able to spend too much time with him, I think, because I'm probably going to get teabagged, basically, by those knights that are chasing me. Oh, maybe they've stopped. Is that the Emerald Herald? I never came back to actually talk to her, but this is Vendrick. Vendrick's an optional boss, but notice that this dude is hollowed out. He's not living a very good life right now, but he does still have the King's Crown, which is, I believe we can put that on and it gives us like a little extra damage. But if I try to attack him, you know, I hit him, but it doesn't do any damage. The reason behind that is, I'm going to spoil this for you, so if you don't want an optional boss spoiled for you, maybe skip ahead like 2 minutes in the video here. But you are able to do more damage to him the more giant souls you have. So if you get like all 5 giant souls, I think there's 5 in the game, 4 or 5, then you can do the most damage to him. And if you have 1, you can do basically 0 damage to him. I don't think we have any giant souls right now, to be honest with you. We might have... I think we have 0, because I used the giant soul that I got from the first boss fight. But anyway, so that's how you fight him eventually. What is this, what is that other soul that I've got in my inventory right now? Is that, Vestalt's soul here? Soul of Vestalt acquires numerous souls, or perhaps... Anyway, yeah, we can't do anything with Vendrick now. Maybe on New Game Plus. But you can on New Game as well. I'm gonna replace the Spell Quartz Ring with the King's Ring, just so I never have to think about equipping it. So that's what we just got there, I think. King's Ring. What this does is open the King's Gate, which is very important. It opens some doors that will get us to the late game.
This ring is the symbol of the king. Use it to gain passage through the King's Gate and venture to the far east. Bearer of the curse, if you are to be the next monarch, then one day you will walk those grounds without really knowing why.
Alright, she has nothing more to say. I'm just gonna take a quick look around this area. I'm very interested to see if maybe there's some, like, lore significance for all of these statues here. Remember, we are in the Undead Crypts. I don't know if these all represent maybe... I mean, they're very large people. Maybe these represent, like, dead giants or dead gods or something like that, but I'll leave that kind of speculation to people who are much smarter with respect to the lore aspects of the game than I am. So, I think we're just going to use a Homeward Bone here if I have one. I have 16, that's probably enough. That was a very easy boss fight against Vestalt, to be honest with you. And that's Undead Crypt, again, a very short area if you know where to go. I probably spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours on it when I was going through blind to discover that route that I ended up taking there. So now we can go through the King's Gate. And going through the King's Gate is actually... It's a little weird. The navigation in Dark Souls 2 is a little less clear than it is in Dark Souls 1. I think we're going to head first to Northernlion Castle, which is here. And we're going to go to the King's Gate, I guess is the perfect bonfire for us to take there. And in going through this area, we should be able to open a door and maybe fight another boss right away, but there's also a couple more areas we have to go to before we can actually trigger the spawning of the final boss. So we have to go to Aldia's Keep, we have to go to... you know, I shouldn't spoil the areas for you, I'm sorry. I know that I get yelled at for spoilers, and I get yelled at for people who are yelling at me for spoilers, or for apologizing for spoilers, because they're like, why would I be watching episode 22 if I didn't want to have spoilers? Well, you know, you should still be wary that some people might want to watch this and experience the game for themselves for the first time, but still not be spoiled as they're watching the thing. But anyway, we have a bunch of areas left to go here. Not too many, but I have to kind of, probably after this video, maybe after we fight this boss, take a look and remember the actual progression for how to get to where we want to go, because I don't quite remember how to get to the next area that we have to go to. But we should be able to do a boss fight here regardless. It won't be the final boss fight, but we should be able to do a boss fight here anyway. And it's kind of a cool area, the Throne of Want. Although, if you end up walking this area like 7 or 8 times, I pretty much promise you that you are going to wish that there was a bonfire maybe a little bit closer to the door here. I've never fallen off of this thing, but you're so tempted because it takes like, you know, maybe 45 seconds to run across the entire thing. You're tempted to just like check your phone or look at Twitter or your email or something like that, and I could totally see myself accidentally just running off the edge like an idiot. By the way, I know that a lot of people are like, use your souls, use your souls. It's fine. You know, we're at a level where I could actually like beat the game right now in all likelihood. So I don't worry too much about having these souls lost. If they get lost, they get lost. If I ever need souls, and this is what I would try to articulate in the comments at one point, I'm just going to summon this AI companion just so we can have him. If I ever lose enough souls that I need to do something else, like or I don't have enough souls to do what I want to do, I'll just farm them off camera. I just don't want to bore you guys by like, you know, going to Majula every 10,000 souls just so I don't lose them. So this is Ben Hart of Jugo. He is the Moonlight... Oh, don't back off the edge, you ding-dong. He's the Moonlight Greatsword wielding guy that we found a little bit earlier on in the game. Anyway, we're going to be able to fight the Throne Guardians here. So these are the Guardians of the Throne of Want. We have the Throne Watcher and the Throne Defender. Again, I imagine there's some like really cool lore behind these guys, but I don't know what it is. What I do know is that having a second person here to help handle the fight for you is extremely useful, because again, a lot of people have pointed this out to me on Twitter, but like the most difficult boss fights in Dark Souls 2 are basically just boss fights where you get kind of like gang hit in the corner. Ruined Sentinels are an example of like an early game, early-ish, it's early game. An early game that boss that really gums up a lot of people's progress, and it's not because that they're particularly difficult, just because there's a lot of them. Like one Ruined Sentinel is not so bad, despite what you saw me suffer on in Northernlion Castle. Really, you know, we got to be smart here. Ben Hart is probably not gonna. What the heck is that? Ben Hart is probably not going to survive, and of course, he didn't survive. So what I did is just focused on one instead of trying to take out the other one, just so I'd only have a one-on-one fight here. And then we should pretty much have like a Vestalt type thing here. Please tell me that that Throne Watcher can't actually come to life at some point. That sword being all lightning-y is kind of freaking me out. Messed up my invincibility frame there, but that's okay. We got another fight that's basically just a vertigo-inducing fight or a dizzy-inducing fight against a Dragon Rider type enemy here. He takes a little bit less damage, I think, than Vestalt, but this is a boss fight that I don't have much memory about, because I beat it the first try when I did it off camera. Mind you, I did have the AI companion helping. Some people occasionally, you know, I'm wary of like apologizing too much because people get mad at me for apologizing too much. Whatever. There's worse things to be apologetic or worse things to be derided about, I guess. Yeah, some people are like, you know, don't use AI summons. It kind of cheapens the experience. Please tell me. No. Okay. Tell me that only heals himself, please. Oh, I'm mad. I'm actually mad now. That's so bad. Please tell me at least that the if I kill the Throne Defender, the Throne Watcher can't summon or can't heal him again. Because I could just go to town The Throne Defender's not dead, he's just stunned. Oh. Lucky me? Ah, lucky, okay. Good. Oh, I almost gummed it up. Why would you turn in the other direction to attack? That was probably something I did with my analog stick, but still. Play it cool. Oh my god, I missed him by like an inch. This is what you don't want, is to have one on the other side of you. Okay, stamina regen a little bit. I expected that would actually hurt me more than it did. There we go, one's dead. So we'll fight the Throne Watcher now. I think Throne Watcher has less HP, but we want to finish this fight pretty quickly because otherwise could find ourselves in this situation that we found ourselves in prior to this. But we are doing way more damage. Take a second, S this up. Okay, good. There's got to be a timer for that heal. And oh, never mind. No, there's not. Just bring him back to life right away. That's fantastic for everybody involved. Alright, this fight actually is now bullshit. Like, we're actually way worse off than we were back when Benhart was still alive. So I guess this fight's not as easy as I thought it was. I deserve to die there, but I guess what you want to do is make sure that these enemies are taken out right away. So that's a more difficult fight solo, for sure. We know now that we need to be a little bit more aggressive moving forward, and that's okay. Maybe I'll put on some resin, but for now, I think we're going to end this video here. Good progress. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say about the AI summons. The reason I summon is not only for help, and a lot of the AI summons, or at least a few of the AI summons actually are helpful, but additionally, it's necessary to summon them to finish their quest lines sometimes, so why not, right? Plus, Benhart of Jugo is pretty cool. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm glad to be out of the Undead Crypt, one-shot Vestalt, which is nice, and hopefully we'll do a little bit better against the Throne Guardians next time, and I'll remember which way to go. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe. It means a lot as we approach the end of this Dark Souls series. Keep in mind, I'm going to be doing more stuff for the PC release and Invasions and PvP as well. But in any case, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time.